All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome back to the WahCast. This is episode 3, I believe. Yeah, 3. Technically 3. Would have been 4, but we'll get into that shortly. So yeah, feel free to sit back, relax, and tune in and listen along. And we'll be getting into some stuff throughout the episode. So if you are feeling like participating, by all means, feel free to leave a comment, ask a question, go about it, and see where we can go from here. Hello there. It's me. I've been expecting you all. Hi. Welcome back. Happy New Year, everyone. Apologies, by the way, everyone. I'm still kind of getting over the cough a little bit, so bear with us as we get through that. So, but I'll try to do my best to not let it get the most out of me. So we'll see what happens there with that. No guarantees. It's not gonna be nothing's gonna be perfect, but we'll make do with what we have. We're gonna do a little bit of a different angle this time. I'm gonna get it from here this time. I think this is different, putting me on the left side instead. Hello. I hope everyone had a good year, good New Year so far. I know it's been a couple weeks since I've done this. Unfortunately, I got pretty sick for Christmas, so that wasn't too fun. I came home Sunday night, kind of hung out a little bit, felt a little bit of an onset of a cough going Sunday night, and next thing I know, I wake up Monday morning, day after, and I was I was not having a good time. Let's put it that way. But I'm better, feeling good. We're here. It's been New Year, and yeah, we're gonna make the most of it. 2023. Again, I'm not saying anything about it, but I have a good feeling about this year. I have a pretty good feeling. A lot of things coming up this year. A lot of good things. A lot of steps being made to make sure that this year is a good year, at least for the start. But yeah, I haven't talked to you guys since probably before the holidays, so Merry late Christmas and Happy New Year to you all. I hope the holidays treated you all well. Hope you guys had a lot of good food, got a good time to spend with family and friends and all that fun stuff, and welcome in the new year. So yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. Sadly, no guest tonight. It's just me tonight. Just me. Hello. It's the Wah. I'm here. So yeah, we'll get along with that and hop right into it. So a little bit of an update and something that you all will probably hear more of here in the future. I got a new job finally. Finally got something settled down, interview process, all the paperwork, onboarding, all that fun stuff. Finally got a new one. It's temporary for the time being, I'll definitely say that. It's definitely not one that I plan on being with for a while. It is a maintenance and custodial job for one of the school districts nearby, but it's something that's gonna get money back flowing again and income going, and yeah, it's gonna be enough to kind of just get things rolling again. Unfortunately, though, that means the schedule for my streaming every week is gonna have to change a little bit. My hours for the shift, it's second shift. So I'll be working from 2:30 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. and I have weekends off and in the summer I'll have Friday off as well. So I'll work 4 10s and then have 3 days off during the week. But yeah, basically I'll be doing that. Be night shifts and everything like that. So either during the week I'll probably have, the idea that I'm kind of running through is during the week I'll probably have more late night streams, which will probably be a little bit shorter, maybe 2 hours at most instead of 3, because by the time I get home and clean up and everything and do all that stuff, it'll be already midnight. So you're talking a midnight start stream for the East Coast, but 9 o'clock for West Coast. So maybe it might be a little bit of an opportunity to get it more involved with another demographic. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Weekends, though, I'm probably going to move the WahCast from Wednesdays to Sunday, just so that way I have more time to do stuff, as well as better planning for whenever I get like guests to come in and talk along as well. That way I'm not like, hey, if you want to talk on the podcast, you got to stay up till midnight on a weekday and go do all that. So I don't think that would be very wise for anyone. But yeah, let's see here. We have a couple of cons coming up. Not for me. I'm not going to any cons probably not until Anthrocon in the summer. Maybe FE if all things are looking dandy, but I have a couple other plans to take care of before June whenever AC comes around. So that's a confirmed. That's a confirmed one. I will be at Anthrocon this year. I've got my registration done and everything like that. So your boy's going. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time. Is that? Hi, Magnus. Hello. Good to see you, Bean. Yes, it's me. It's Trigo. It's Trigo Durgo. But yeah. We have FC coming up. I know there's a lot of people going to that. Well, actually, no. I think Anthro Northwest is first, right? Yeah, Anthro Northwest, which is coming up here this weekend. So that's going to be this weekend. And then FC is the following weekend, I think. Yeah. And then after that is Anthro Northeast. Or New England. Anthro New England, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure. Haven't been. Never been. But we got 3 cons back to back to back. So if anyone's going, keep that in mind. I will be streaming as well during those weeks. So if you are at the con and you happen to miss it, don't worry. I'll be figuring that one out. Speaking of, because of the WahCast and because of me doing this, regularly as I can, week after week after week after week, I've realized that eventually I might end up losing episodes because Twitch has its little like sunsetting policy, so VODs don't get all clogged up and everything. But don't worry. I thought ahead. This one will get saved too. But I'll be posting the WahCast episodes on YouTube. So a Trigo Durgo official YouTube page will be started up specifically for the WahCast. I don't know if it's going to be anything else. I'll probably just keep it just to that and keep, my main videos on Twitch, and then, whenever Twitch gets rid of them, they're gone. But, c'est la vie. That's how it goes. But yeah, big things starting up. Also, I don't know. I would have to ask. I would have to see what people would think if I did it. But I was thinking of possibly also divulging into TikTok as well. But I don't know how well that would look with me still being half body. So that might be something down the line that I might do. Something maybe once I get full body tracking, I can do a little bit more expressiveness with all that. Maybe then I'll probably get into doing more like skits and everything like that for TikTok and other video ideas, and we'll see where that goes. So who knows? There's a lot of plans that I have for this year. 2023 is going to be a year that I I don't know where I'm gonna go with it. It could go either way. We could stay, where we are, just kind of coasting smoothly, small little tightly knit community, or who knows? Maybe I get lucky and things start popping off. So 2023 could be anything. That being said, let's see. The one thing that's not going away, I will say that, is the questionnaires. I love these questions, by the way, guys. I hope you do too. They're good questions. They're good conversation starters. Let's see what we have. Now, some of these I already have answered on the app itself. For those of you who don't know, I use an app called Telenym. This is not a sponsor, don't worry. But it would be cool if you guys sponsored me. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, essentially what happens is, you can log in, you can find me on there. I should have a link down below on the about section on Twitch that kind of explains the link to it, or sends the link to my profile on there. You can ask any questions, completely anonymous, unless you tell me who it is asking the question. But yeah, basically you ask random questions, and it could be funny, silly questions like what's your favorite food, or what's your most bizarre food pairing. Or it could be like, more sentimental stuff, more deep cut stuff. Any kind of question. I like answering questions. They're fun because it can also start a conversation. So first up, what we have here it is Anonymous asks, what is something about the past that we should learn more about? I'll try to keep the answer for the podcast differently than how I answered it on the app, just so that way I don't end up repeating myself. But definitely as someone who is a big history buff, I like local history, world history, all that. History I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about. I could talk for hours about different history and everything like that. It's it's kind of a problem. I'm just gonna say it. It's kind of a problem. But it's a problem I like to have. But something we could learn more about from the past, learn more about. I'll guess I'll start off with the answer that I gave already, and that's kind of like learning more about developing environmental technology in terms of like energy production, green energy, and everything like that, especially here in the United States. Something to kind of understand is like there's a few reasons why America is as far behind in infrastructure as it is compared to the rest of the world. What I mean by that is, we have interstates, right? We have our interstates, our roadways, everything like that. It's like, the interstate system was this huge thing that developed, and it made travel across the country nice and easy. But let me tell you something. Have you ever heard of high-speed rail? America is the only country, to my knowledge, I could be wrong about that. It is the only first world country of its size and population that does not have a nationwide high-speed rail system. Which baffles me. I know that doesn't sound like much, and you're probably thinking, oh, I could just get on a train or get on a plane and everything. Let me tell you something. Come closer. Come here. You want to know why plane tickets from like LA to Chicago are $800 a person? You want to know why train rides across the country take 22 hours? It's because none of our rail lines are private. Like all of our rail lines are privatized. None of it's government owned. Which means companies like Amtrak have to essentially get permission from other railroad companies to use their rail lines for the passenger trains. It's and none of them, and I mean zero, like Big O, Krispy Kreme donuts, zero. None of them are developed for high-speed rail. None of them. When I say that high-speed rail in America would be an amazing thing for infrastructure development and just travel across the country, I'm talking you could take a high-speed rail from New York to LA, get there in maybe an hour or two slower than an airplane, but it would be a fraction of the cost. I'm talking baggage, everything. You maybe would pay $110 for the trip. Not only that, but as compared to a plane, on a train, you can get up, you can walk around. Sometimes you're in a lounge car that has beds, you can lay down. You can go to the dining car, have food, have drink, all while looking outside and looking at the beautiful scenery. Can't do that with airplanes. With airplanes, you're crammed into a canister, essentially, and flown 30,000 feet in the air very quickly. But because of, no real high-speed competition, planes and, airline companies, they can put whatever they want as the price for their tickets, and you bet your ass, because it's the fastest way possible, and you excuse me, you and I both know that driving sucks. Puts a lot of miles on your car, puts a lot of gas in your car. It's expensive. And anything past, I would say, 8 hours at that point in gas alone is going to be so much more than flying. And I guess a frame of reference to use, from Pittsburgh to Denver, it's about a 3.5 hour flight. Okay, not bad. It's about $250 a person, maybe $300 a person, maybe. Let me put it to you this way. That's a 22-hour drive. 22-hour drive versus 3.5 hour flight. You know how many miles in gas you're going to put into your car just one way? Probably the amount of gas that, or the amount of money that it would require for a plane ticket. That's the issue we're at. But trains, high-speed rail runs on electric, which means it doesn't use gas, which means it's significantly cheaper and it's much more efficient. And you see where I'm getting at with this. So I guess to kind of reel this back a bit. Yeah, no, you're 100% right, Tiger. Canada has started developing theirs. So soon, we might be the only country, not just, in North America, but in the world soon, that has no high-speed rail nationwide. It would honestly probably, for me, be faster if I wanted to go to, say, Seattle. It would be faster for me to drive the 5 hours north to Toronto from Pittsburgh, get on the high-speed Canadian rail, ride the high-speed Canadian rail to Vancouver, get off of Vancouver, take a bus to Seattle. It would be faster and cheaper doing that than going for a plane. Because the other cool thing about trains is, yeah, you have TSA and everything. You still have your, some baggage checking and everything. But it's nowhere near as tedious. Nowhere near. They usually tell you, oh, your flight leaves at, this time. So you got to be at the airport at least 2 hours before your flight. That's just, the common etiquette of, flights. Your train will be in that station for at least 30 minutes to an hour loading. And you can get on that train at any time during that loading period. You could show up when loading starts, get through your baggage check and everything, and the train will still be there. It's just, it's so much more convenient. And I really wish we didn't have such a dependency on planes and cars. I would love to see not just because I'm a rail fan, I'm an absolute train nut. But that's not why I would want to see more trains being used commercially in the United States. Yeah, yeah. What Fev, what you said. We need more mid tier transport options. I'll use Pittsburgh as an example. We are probably one of the largest cities on the East Coast that does not have a developed transit system. We have buses and we have one tram line. Technically two, but it's one tram line. And it runs right past my house. The main line runs right past my house. It goes downtown and to the shopping center that's right near my house. That's it. There's one line. It's insane because we could have such a better traffic solution by running multiple lines out of the city. Run it to the north, run it to the east, to the west, run another one south, run one from downtown to the airport. So that way, you have stuff going on there when football game or hockey game or any kind of big event. And when Anthrocon is in town, you know how much easier it would be to go get off your plane at the airport, arriving for Anthrocon. You get on the train and you take the tram transit system down to downtown, literally right next to the fucking convention center is where one of the stations are. But no, it's not. It doesn't do that. It's so underwhelming. And it irks me. And this is kind of where the history thing of that original question kind of comes in. And it's the notion of, if you notice, you see a lot of photos, a lot of old videos, a lot of old photos of the old trolleys that used to go through cities and everything. And they ran on electric. They ran on electric in the 60s and 50s and 40s and 20s. They ran on electric. And yes, I am 100% going to call out the gas companies on this, but they are 100% to blame. I'm not even joking about this. The reason you don't see trolleys en masse across the United States, and the reason why a lot of cities in the United States are built for cars, is because of the dependency that we have on fossil fuels and gas. It's... If we just stopped for a second, looked at how much better we could do with trams and subways and stuff that ran electrically, that actually do something to get rid of traffic and be better systems of transportation than everybody getting into a car, you'd be surprised. You'd be pretty darn surprised how much more smoothly cities would run. Yeah, and the issue... Excuse me. Yeah, buses were a lot cheaper to run. Buses were a lot easier to run than trams and everything like that. And just... it's an issue. But I think the issue also is we were very short-sighted on the notion of, oh, look at these buses. These buses could easily do this, and it would be a lot easier. And we could put more people on a bus. The problem with that, and the problem with buses, is as your population grows, there's a point in which the population grows faster than what just slamming bus after bus after bus into your transit can resolve. And Pittsburgh, again, is a really good example of that. When we started getting rid of our trolleys here in Pittsburgh en masse and started switching over to buses was, I'd say around the 70s, 80s. I wasn't there for that, but this is part of my historian knowledge that I know about for local history. We started getting rid of them all. Nowadays, with our T system and our Port Authority transit system, it would have been so much easier to make another rail line and put 6, 7, 8 trams than it would be those 7 or 8 trams could fit the same as 20 buses worth of people. And it's just... Yeah, cities that are starting to put up subways and intercity rail lines need to also learn station placement and walkability. Yeah, no, we don't our mentality for some reason when it comes to building and developing cities in America is we don't plan for pedestrian traffic. A lot of European cities, if you look, and a lot of non-American cities in general, you'll see are very much like they're very much you see people using bikes a lot more often, electric scooters, they're walking a lot more, but their public transit is also much more developed. They have a much higher dependency on, train lines, subway, everything like that. And it shows the effectiveness of it because cities are quieter to an extent. I say quieter, but cities aren't meant to be quiet, but cities are quieter, they're easier to live in, and just the best examples I guess I could use are Berlin and Amsterdam, in terms of like European cities that are just miles ahead in terms of developing that. And like the cities are super clean in terms of like air pollution and noise pollution and everything like that. People like are able to use their bikes and get on a bus or go on a tram or a subway and everything like that, and it's so much easier for them versus here. you know you can't walk across the street without having to wait because there's 50 million cars that need to go through the intersection one way. So it yes, people say, oh, America's really easy to navigate because, we have grid systems set up for our cities. Well, the grid system's nice and all, and the super block system is nice and all, but it's building, 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 road, building, road, building, building, road. There's no breaking up of, there's no small side streets. There's no pathways. It's sidewalk building road. Sidewalk building road. I'm probably ranting at this point. I'm probably getting a little bit too into the discussion of talking about city layouts and everything, but it's you also have to look at topography, and there's a bunch of other factors. But I guess to kind of come back to the question at hand and answer that question flat on, I would definitely say that, it comes down to one of the biggest things that I think that we could learn from the past on is, why our dependency on building our infrastructure around cars is a bad thing. I'm not saying it's like we should just stop doing it altogether. I'm saying that, it maybe instead of tearing out 6 neighborhoods for a new freeway that's not going to actually resolve the traffic problem, instead maybe like, go through an old industrial area with a rail line that will, help people get into the city more efficiently. So, urban planning is a fun thing to talk about. And it's probably one of the reasons why I might start getting back in the city skylines for streams. Because, you want to talk about just chatting and developing a city while I chat and all that. Oh my goodness. You really get to see it. You guys thought the little, like, minute detail model tweaking personality that I have after doing Planet Coaster on Monday was bad. You should see me in City Skylines. I go full-blown urban planning, and I'm sitting there and I'm developing every little minute detail. Yeah, City Skylines is definitely something I want to try and get back into, but I need to look at it because last time I tried playing it, all of my mods and assets did not work. So I might just have to go through that whole thing and get back through it. But yeah, moving along there. There's a nice little first tangent that we got through. Let's see. What was... Oh, okay. Anonymous asks, what was a recently fun day for you? So, for me, now that I'm no longer sick, definitely would have to have been New Year's. For context, I went into 2022 with COVID. The ball dropped, and I was in bed watching it on a TV screen, half dead, because COVID hit me like a ton of bricks. And that's how my year started, and it kind of set the tone for 2022, because my God, 2022 was not a good year. But it's funny and ironic that I got sick right before New Year's this most recent week, and then got better going into 2023. So I was healthy for 2023, had a good time, got to hang out with a bunch of friends of mine from the VRC Dumbasses group, and all of them just would not have changed it. The only thing I would have changed is that I wish that for another year or a future year I get to do it in person with all of them. There's just so many people there in that group that I would love to celebrate New Year's in person and get to do all the stupid tomfoolery that we did in VR in person. Whether that be, everyone pitches together, comes into a certain town and everything like that, and then, comes in and maybe, people rent out like a couple hotel rooms, and we all as a group pitch together to rent out a space at like a hotel, or like rent out like a bar for the night, like a hotel bar for the night, and then do a ball drop party in person. That would be something cool. That would be something really nice. Instead of, doing a convention or something, this would be a way to be more personalized. We can make our own plans and go to see our own things and everything like that. And it would be a lot of fun, I think. But yeah, New Year's was definitely a good time for me. I had a very good time. Got to see a lot of friends, got to listen to very good music. Even cried once, but it was happy tears, because for those of you who may or may not know Misho, the Mano Kit, he runs Vibe Night, and he did one of his sets for this big mega collaboration between a bunch of different clubs, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. And he wrapped up his set with kind of like a video slideshow compilation of like pictures taken both in VR and IRL over the past year, and it was very, very sentimental. It was very nice. It made me tear up a bit. So, Lunite, hello, welcome, hello. Cutie Bean, I don't know about Cutie Bean. All y'all are cutie beans. I don't know about that. I don't know about me. I'm just Derg. I am just Derg. But yeah, that was my New Year's. I hope you all had a good New Year's. If you did any kind of celebrations, I would love to hear about those. Whether it was like something simple, or you went to a big party and everything like that. Who knows? I don't care. If you had a good time and you welcomed in the new year in a good way, then that's all that matters. But yeah, New Year's was fun. I always, this time of year is always such a good time for me. Like, I know I get a kick out of Halloween, and like New Year, like 4th of July and St. Patty's Day. There are excuses for me to have a little bit of a party time, but there's something about Christmas and New Year's for me that just kind of hits differently. It feels more, I'm trying to think of what's a good word for that. It feels more genuine. It feels like, sometimes people get together, but they kind of feel like they're at an obligation to get together. And with New Year's celebrations and all that, to me, it felt genuine. It felt like everybody that was there wanted to be there. So, yeah, it just, yeah. that's my take on it. That's my take on it. Let's see here. Who else? Who else? What else we got? What else we got? Okay, okay, okay. All right. We'll stand we'll kind of flip it a little bit. Anonymous asks, "What is your opinion about people who don't want kids?" Honestly, I mean, I canceled all the family side of my mom used to celebrate with, or too scared to catch something. Yeah, or don't speak. That's fair. I mean, I kind of have that dynamic in my family, Tiger. Um, Definitely, like my mom's side of the family is much more closely knit. I think I might have talked about this on a past podcast or something. But basically, my mother's side of the family is very more well integrated with one another. They see each other more. When everyone was younger, they did, family reunions and everything like that and all that fun jazz. But but in terms of like my dad's side, they don't really ever talk to one another. Really, on my dad's side, the only one I see other than my dad is my grandmother and my aunt. And other than that, I don't really see anybody on my dad's side. So we don't really do any celebrations with them. But we try to, for the most part, with my mom's side of the family. We do get-togethers and different celebrations, and we keep in contact with each other and all that jazz. But I don't think we've done like a big family New Year's celebration for a while. I think at least not since I was in grade school still. But for Lunite, for you, how does one ask questions for the WahCast? You can either ask it here on chat and do it, and I'll answer them live. Or if you check in the About section below, you'll see that I have a link to my Telonym, which is the app that I use. It's like an anonymous thing. You can basically ask anything, and I try to answer them as best as I can. So yeah. But in regards to the question, with people who don't want kids and what my thoughts on that, in in simple terms, good for them. Good for them for not giving in to the peer pressure or the familiar uh and social pressures. um it's definitely something that I understand, that people want to have a familial structure, and they want to have a family of their own, and like, oh, when I grow up, I want to have this many kids, and I want to do this and I want to do that, the old classic American dream, quote unquote. um but with honestly, and I'm one of the people who, I don't, let me put it this way,
Hello there.
I don't hate kids. I don't hate them. I used to work with kids, and my next job that I'm getting ready to do, it will probably end up in some way working with kids again. Um, but personally, if it comes down to like, oh, do you want kids? Absolutely not. I do not want kids, probably ever. Like, if anything, if I was with like the right person. Also, I just realized I think my music stopped. That, or it's just really quiet. Maybe? I don't know. Weird. Bizarre. We'll switch up music real quick, just so that way we can get that going again. There we go. But yeah, no, like, in terms of kids and everything like that, like I don't ever plan on having my own kids. I came close once. I was with somebody that kind of made me second guess some of my discretions or concerns, is a way I guess I could put it. And I kind of rummaged the idea around, but I realized that, with the way things are right now, I'm struggling to stay afloat. I couldn't imagine how my kids' generation would go through that kind of ordeal, because yeah, we can get into all that, but that's a tangent for another time entirely. But no, for people who don't want kids, that entirely kudos to them. It's not cheap to have a kid. And then, granted, you go from 1 kid to 2 kids to 3 to 4. Some people even have 5 kids these days, and I'm just like, ooh. In America, I forget where I read it, and the number may be a little bit different from when I read it to now. But the last I checked, they estimated it's around from the time the kid is born to the time they turn 18. It costs roughly $300,000 to raise a single child, and that's if you're doing budgeting and financing and everything like that. So yeah, I don't have that laying around, especially not over 18 years. I don't have that. But also, Lunite, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Derg Den. This is the weekly WahCast. I do this every Wednesday, or try to, when I'm not, coughing up along and dying on the couch like last week. That's why I didn't have an episode last week. But yeah, this is something I do. Sometimes, I have a little guest star on and everything like that. We got a big list for guest stars for this year. Like, there are some people that I definitely want to try and get on this podcast. Some you may recognize, some you may not. That's perfectly fine. But as we develop and get things moving along, by all means, I'm hoping we get some of these people on, because you guys are going to be in for a treat for some of them. So, yeah. So, tonight, though, yeah, I'm probably going to have to look that up, because I feel like I know what it means, but I don't want to sit here and, like, talk about it if I don't know, if I don't fully, like, understand it. So, let me look that up real quick. What is it? Technological singularity. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So it's almost kind of like a Okay. So okay, I can see that. So with the technological singularity, in terms of what this definition here is defining it as, the AI revolution, or, technology advancing to the point that it becomes, self-sufficient, self-aware, or technology circumvents humanity or changes it. And I've seen movies in the past, like, you have like iRobot, and there was that one movie with Johnny Depp where it talked about, like, uploading consciousness into another body, or into, like, an AI and everything like that. Or you have, you see, like, even like in the Halo series, you see where technology kind of progresses pretty crazily ahead, or Cyberpunk, or there's all kinds of ways that, you could kind of go about with, kind of portraying that. It could go well, it could go bad. If it goes bad, it usually ends up in a cyberpunk, or like some sort of technological dystopia kind of setting. But if it goes well, I've seen it go into like a solar punk kind of aesthetic. Solar punk's a really cool aesthetic, by the way. Look it up. It's awesome. Basically like green energy, super like developed technology, but all of it's like beneficial and everything like that. Really, really neat little like subgenre of punks. As for my own take on it, oh man, I mean, if it benefits us, I definitely would feel that it should be welcomed. Obviously, we come down to the ethics of, like, maybe if we get into like the cyberpunk aspect of, like technological implants or neurological implants and stuff, we kind of get into the whole moral ambiguity of, how long until we are no longer human. When do we become, machines ourselves and lose our touch with humanity? And it's honestly, we could sit here and say like the hypotheticals of like technology versus, human emotion and everything like that. And, there's the hypothetical situation of, if we develop technology so much so to the point that, we could simulate emotion, we could simulate expression of feeling and everything that, the human body feels, to the point that your body and this cybernetic body are no different from one another except in like appearance or whatever. Would you upload your consciousness from your original body into this cybernetic? For me personally, it depends. Because there's the whole mortality thing of, you grow old, you pass away, or your loved ones grow old and pass away and everything like that. With the cybernetics, that doesn't age the same way. Yeah, you might need, different kinds of methods to go about, with, maybe software updates, or, an upgrade in hardware, or, a repair on something. But for me personally, I feel that the aspect of looking side by side, if our technology got to that point, to the point where, cybernetics are something that's, every day, and, we could replicate the human body in a cybernetic way, 1-for-1 scale, you would not be able to tell the difference except in like appearance, then it's possible that I would go through with like a procedure to like upload my consciousness into like another entity, either as a backup or as like, like, say my body is like done, I'm done, like my clock's ticking, I'm on my last few days. Would I do it to, kind of keep on going for a little bit more? Maybe. It depends on the kind of life I lived, or the kind of situation I'm in. If it's like a life-saving like procedure, I would do it. Plus, it'd be kind of cool. Think about it, there's ups and downs obviously to it. Like, there's definitely some cons to being in a cybernetic body, but there's also some pros as well. One of them is, I could think of ways that, you won't have to worry about, eating or sleeping or anything like that, which I guess is in itself its own pro and con. Pros obviously being, more time to do stuff, and you wouldn't have to worry about hunger or anything like that. I guess, if there's like scent receptors or like taste receptors, that way you can still actually enjoy the food, that would be something that I would definitely consider. But yeah, no, if it was like, oh yeah, you can go in this body, you would never have to sleep again, you would never have to eat again, but you can't taste food anymore. I'm sorry, but I like food too much. That would be a deal breaker. If I could never have food again, nah, sorry. I like the taste of food way too much. So, my fat ass would no deal on that one. But if it was like, oh yeah, you don't have to sleep anymore, you don't have to eat, but you still can. You can taste it, you can smell it, everything is still the same, feels the same way. Oh, 100% I'm taking that deal. You know how many hours in the day I could make up for if I didn't have to sleep 8 hours a day? Like, think about it. You would never get tired. You would never get sleepy. Like, during at night, you go out, maybe hang out with friends, and then, until, everyone's kind of done doing their thing, come back and kind of hang out on your own, and then get ready to go to work again. I don't know. It'd be different. I know we kind of like sit here and we don't really. That's not something we can like physically kind of comprehend, because the human body literally dies after being awake for like more than 3 days straight without any kind of sleep. The body literally just starts shutting down from lack of sleep. So it's not something we can physically like process of like, what would it be like to never have to sleep for a week, for a month, for a year? Imagine going a whole year without ever having to sleep. You would just be constantly awake. It'd be different. It'd be weird. Now, then there's also the fact of like, okay, would your cybernetic body also kind of, would it still be able to dream? Would you be able to shut it off for, put it on sleep mode? Sorry. 1 second. Oh. Hi, Vapor. Good to see you. I always know when Vapor joins, because he always plays the air raid, the air horn raid. So, hello, Bean. Good to see you. Downloading my consciousness into VR would be so I could be anything I want that could be fun. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, that would be something that you'd be able to program. I think then, for you, Tiger, that comes down to like an entirely different, like, an entirely different kind. Because I'm here still thinking about the physical body. But, like, what if there was a way that, like, humanity's development, I guess, its next step in evolution was a technological evolution of, going full Ready Player One, uploading your consciousness into like a system. Like, you wouldn't have a physical body anymore, but the virtual reality would be so well developed at that point that it would essentially be it would be a reality in which everything can be tweaked and manipulated and worked differently. It would essentially be like living in Ready Player One's in the Oasis, and that would be you could be any kind of avatar. You could be your Sona, like literally everything. Like, you want to learn another language? Cool, go over here, download the software into your consciousness, and congratulations, you now know like every language in the world, even the made up ones. Like, it would be very interesting to see how that goes. And I, for one, would love to see how that works out. If there was some kind of way of just like stability and everything, just a virtual, like, that is humanity. Humanity no longer lives on Earth, and they now live in, just a simulation thing. But it's okay, Vapor. That's perfectly fine. It was nice seeing you. You're more than welcome to tune in as well, because, it's not all going to be philosophical. It just so happened we got into a big discussion topic. But yeah, it's something to consider. Let's see. What else we got? What do we got? What we got? What's a good one? There's a few. Let's. I want to try and do a silly one right now. Let's see. This one's fitting. This one actually someone sent to me on Monday. They asked me, they're like, "Do you like roller coasters?" Ironically, sent this to me, directly while I was doing my Planet Coaster stream. They sent me this one of like, "Do you like roller coasters?" I'm gonna put it simply. I'll put it very simply for all of you, whether or not I like roller coasters. I fucking love roller coasters. I am obsessed with roller coasters. I Before doing this, before doing Twitch and everything like that, there was a time where I actually considered doing theme park reviews and trying to start up a page and a channel doing that, like going around theme park, roller coasters, rides, everything. Go there, review them, and just make a career out of it. Because that's a thing. Did you know that's a thing? This is an actual thing. Like, some of these people that have these, like, YouTube channels and stuff that go around to these amusement parks, the amusement parks pay them to go there to review their parks. That's how these people make a living. It's insane. I would love to do that. If I could do that for a living, you bet your ass I would be one of the happiest dergs in the whole fucking world. Like, when it comes to roller coasters, like, you're talking, like, different elements that I know about, runtime, airtime, what the loose history on the coaster is, who made the coaster, what the company is, who designed it, it just everything. And like I think that might be something I might do eventually, like some kind of thing where, you know, if people get together, if I get together with a group of people, whether it be with the Void or like from the Dumbasses, and get together and do like an IRL, one of my IRL streams that I have planned for this year or future years. One of them is when Anthrocon comes around. If I can get a group together and, you know, timing and everything works out, I'm going to take them to the amusement park here in Pittsburgh called Kennywood. Some of you might know about it. Some of you might have heard about it. Some might not. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But Kennywood Park is near and dear to my heart. It's got old rides. It's got new rides. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's got unique coasters. And one thing it's always been known for is kind of like being a prototype park. A little cool method, a little bit of like tidbit fun information for them is what they'll do. The way they'll do this is, you know, different roller coaster companies and developers out there, they'll put bids out for a new type of roller coaster. And there's usually a prototype. So, you know, it's never been done before. It's brand new. It's the first of its kind. And yeah, you know, they'll put the bid out there at a lower price than what a fully developed roller coaster would be for. And Kennywood Park has been known to take up those prototype bids. We have a Wild Mouse ride that's here that has spinning cars. That was like one of the first ones of its kind to ever do this at an amusement park. We have a magnetic launch, linear launch coaster. That was like the first of its kind. It was a test coaster. And our newest one that we have there is a big fucking coaster. I mean, like, big. I think it's actually like the tallest. It has the tallest inversion it has the tallest inversion in the world on a coaster. And then it has, I think, the most inversions on a roller coaster in North America. So it's a world record holder. It's a record holder coaster right here in my backyard. With that being said, they kind of take a little bit of a gamble on it, because on one hand, yeah, sure, the contract for the coaster to be built is cheaper because it's a prototype. We don't know if it's going to work. But that also means if it doesn't end up working, the coaster kind of flops. Can't really get rid of a roller coaster that easily once it's up, and it costs a lot of money to take it down. But on the flip side, if the roller coaster does work and it is a success, then congratulations, you just got a brand new, like, state-of-the-art roller coaster for a discounted price. So it kind of works out, I like to think, and Kennywood's had a pretty good track record of it. But they also have some old coasters. They have the one wooden coaster that's here at the park, I believe, started running in 1906. So excuse me. It's almost 120 years old and still going strong. Love it. It's an old wooden coaster, but that's the kind of history that the park has. It's got new rides right next to rides that are older than dirt. So, excuse me, I'm so sorry. But yeah, Kennywood Park is going to be fun. That's going to be a nice little trip. It's going to be a video kind of thing that I hope to take people along with. Oh, I got a hydrate redeem. Funny thing about that tiger. Give me 1 second because I didn't grab any water before stream, and I'm kind of stupid for that. So give me 1 second. Let me go do that real quick, and then I will be right back. Give me like 2 minutes. Not even 2 minutes. Maybe like 30 seconds to a minute. I've returned with water. I have my hydration. Right. So let's get back into it. We were talking about roller coasters, talking about amusement parks, all that fun jazz. And I still have my cough. So terribly sorry. Hello, I'm back. And I'm in gremlin mode again. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me put you there. We're gonna get up on the chair. Get on the. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that face. Look at this face. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff. A lot of good things. A lot of things are being planned, and it's going to be a good time for 2023. I definitely plan on doing at least 1 or 2 IRL streams. They might be streams, they might be videos that I pre-record, edit, and put on YouTube as well. I don't know. I'm still thinking of keeping the live streaming for like gaming and everything like that, and then making YouTube for the podcast and more IRL stuff. So we'll see where that goes. That might also mean that I might start recording these podcasts outside of VR. But I don't know. I kind of like it. I like the concept of a VR podcast. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I think it might be something to determine down the line once we start getting more involved with this and everything like that. So for now, it's going to stay in VR. The WahCast is going to stay in VR. But yeah, fucking love roller coasters. There's a lot of places that I want to go to still, and a lot of rides that I want to that I still want to try out and go on. And I've been to a good few many parks in the past, and I mean, like I said, Kennywood's always going to be like a hometown classic, but I'm only like a 3-hour drive from Cedar Point, which is a crazy amusement park. Top 5 of all time. If you're ever going to go visit any amusement park in the world, top 5 of all time, Cedar Point is one of them. Cedar Point is, I don't even know how to put it. You want to ride like world record coaster after world record coaster, go to Cedar Point. It literally has some of the best roller coasters in the entire world. I'm not even joking about that. But I've been there. I've been to Busch Gardens all the way down in Tampa, Florida. Been to Universal. What else? Kennywood, obviously. Now to come to think of it, I haven't been to that many parks, but I've been to some parks. We'll put it like that. I've been to enough to know that. But yeah, don't know about the others, but love the live WahCast. Oh, it'll still always be live. I'll still always have it be live in some way or another. I think it's just a matter of like, will I do it live in like a Discord call or like actually in a studio of sorts? Or will I just continue having it, here in VR? I guess, for simplicity's sake of getting, speakers to come in with me and kind of co-host or guest star, I guess VR does make things very simple for that. But we'll see how that goes. I mean, it's convenient to know that pretty much everyone on my planned guest list is in VR in some way, shape, or form, or I can easily get them into VR. So, yeah. But let's see. Let's see here. What other questions do we have? Ooh, okay. This is a short little one. This is a little short one. And the question Anonymous asks, would you ever cut your own hair? I am very picky about who cuts my hair in general, let alone me cutting my own hair. My hair, for those of you who don't know, is currently down past my shoulders. I have very long hair, IRL. It is quite wavy, quite nice, and everything like that, and I enjoy my hair a lot. It's something I'm actually very proud of. I used to have short hair. I used to wear short hair a lot. It kind of works. I know some people actually, I've shown pictures of what I look like with short hair, and some people really like it. They actually prefer the short hair me over the long hair me. Personally, I really like the long hair, honestly. I kind of feel like my face, my head kind of has a weird shape to it, and I don't like it. So with the long hair, it kind of breaks it up a bit, kind of fills it out a little bit better. And yeah, so I'm very protective of my hair. So if you want to get any ideas of cutting my hair, all I'm going to say is don't. Do not cut my hair. You cut my hair, I will be your number one worst enemy. Not even joking about that. That's not even a joke. That's dead serious. That is I will cut all ties with you if you cut my hair. Yes, protect the Wah hair. Protect the Wah hair, Carbon. Also, hi, Carbon. Good to see you, Bean. What do you oh, okay. Anonymous asks, what do you think about unfollowing the family of an ex after a breakup? Ooh, okay. This one hits a little bit close to home given my current situation, but I don't think if it's a bad breakup, obviously there's going to be a situation where you don't get along with the family anymore, or maybe the family doesn't get along with you if it's a bad breakup and everything like that. But if you're on good terms with the individual, like if you're still friends after the breakup, or you and your ex still keep each other in each other's lives and stuff, you're just not together anymore, then I see no reason to block the family, especially if you're on good terms with the family. Yeah, I mean, there's some things that might make it a little awkward. Maybe you don't go to like family gatherings anymore, or maybe you do. Maybe they still invite you to that stuff, and maybe you just become like a family friend or something like that. But yeah, I mean, unless like the circumstances are super bad to where like you just can't stand even hearing the name of your ex, then I can see that being awkward. Or if the breakup also means you're now on bad terms with the family, then yeah, I could see you unfollowing like them or not talking to them anymore. It's maybe not so much so far as going to block them unless they're like harassing you and stuff. But like, yeah, no, I wouldn't say go through with that unless, like I said, it's a bad thing. I have some hair left, but the molding is unstoppable at this point. Keep my hair very short, make me look like a serious person, which is a bummer, so I make goofy faces instead. Here's the thing, Carbon. I had a buddy of mine who was, I think at the time, he was 19 going on 20, was already balding. Like already losing his hair and everything. And one day he comes in shaved, clean bald. I think he even like went as far as to wax it and get it all nice and smooth and shiny. So he ended up looking like a very serious person, like you said. Like he already had resting bitch face to begin with. So it was kind of funny whenever he came in the one day without like any of his hair on except for like right here on his face. And it made him look very serious. It made him look like we basically called him part of a biker gang with the way it made him look and the way he carried himself. But this guy was literally the biggest goofball ever. And that's the thing I've seen with a lot of people who end up bald is a lot of them who are bald a lot of guys don't want to be bald. A lot of guys that are bald it's not by choice. And it kind of relates to what you said here is like, so you make up for it by, being a goofball and stuff like that. And that's a very common trend I see amongst friends of mine or acquaintances or family even that are in that situation. So I don't know. That might be something along the lines of like, that's your way of, kind of dealing with that or coping with that. And more credit to you guys for taking something that would, normally be seen as a negative situation and turning it into something positive. So, good job to you guys. Proud of you all for doing that. That's a good thing. It's a very good habit to do and a very good thing to go through with. So, yeah. Would you just okay. So, Anonymous is asking, I don't know. Should I do the anonymous asks before I ask the question, or should I just go into the question? You know what? We'll play it by ear. Humor is the key to living without wanting to die. Listen, I didn't need to be called out like this. I didn't need to be called out like this. I understand that there's usually the trope of like, comedians and entertainers are usually the most depressed people, and that's why they're so entertaining and funny. It's because they take their own rough situations and turn it into comedy. And I mean, there's some truth in that, but it's not every situation. But I would like to say, like, it's so long as you're taking, bad situation, kind of molding it and shaping it into a good situation or a good outcome and productive outcome, that's a good thing. I think once we start looking into the aspects of, they're doing that, but they're also maybe being a little self-destructive, or they're doing or having habits that are less than healthy, then I think that's kind of where the concern comes in. Where did I put my water? There it is. Diabetic friend said to me, if I could live to 100 by not eating sugar ever again, I'd ask you, would I really live to 100, or would it just feel that way? That's a very interesting, honestly, that's a very interesting question. Interesting. I don't know how to take that one. Eat some sugar sometimes and has an insulin pen for it. So is it type 1 or type 2, if you don't mind me asking? Because I have friends who are both. I have friends who are type 1. I have other friends who are type 2. But just out of plain curiosity, which kind it is. Where did I? But while I wait for that. Let's see. Yeah, okay, type 2, the one that you can kind of develop. Okay. So Anonymous asks, would you describe yourself as a calm person? Honestly, it depends. I do have my past. Everyone kind of has their little skeletons in their closets and everything. Everyone kind of has their past behind them that they kind of put through. But currently, I would say I am a calm person for the most part. I still do have my Gordon Ramsay tendencies, as I would like to put it. But it is something I'm working on. I am working on getting better with it and everything like that in terms of, temper wise. I have been known in the past to have a little bit of a short temper, and it's a flaw that I acknowledge and live with. And yeah, I get stressed out and stuff like that, but everyone has their limit and threshold. I agree with that, and that's something I've had to kind of tell myself is, everyone kind of can be put or pushed to a limit of sorts. And in the past, I kind of, would get pushed to that limit. I get pushed past that limit. I would then, obviously react in an expected way with frustration and everything. And the same people that pushed me past that limit would then put it back on me. And this would happen, time and time again. And it took me years and a couple other friends of mine to kind of sit there and shake me and wake me up and say, well, hang on. We get it that, it keeps happening to you time and time again. We get it that you, are the only common denominator in this. But you have to look at the situation at hand. Why did this happen? How did these people react? And if it comes down to the fact of the matter of, if the people pushing you to your limit are the people who then blame you for losing your cool when you reach that limit, when they've pushed you there, that's kind of the shitty thing on them. And I don't know. It's something over the years that I've tried to blame myself less for. In the past, I've kind of sat there and I'll be like, I'll reach that point. I'll kind of snap back or clap back or lash out a little bit in frustration, and then I'll sit there and immediately regress back in. And I'm like, wait, okay, hold on now. Why did I do that? Why am I doing this? And the overthinking and the self. The internal whirlwind kind of goes a little wild. But yeah, it's something that I've worked with over the years to try and understand more as well as think through more. And to me now, my idea is, you know where your limits are. You being myself, this is my internal monologue. I know where my limits are. I know where, when I start to feel overwhelmed by something, or I start to feel that I'm being pushed to that limit, I know to just step away from it, to cool off, to breathe, and, wait until, give it some time for my nerves to settle again before rejoining or reconvening with, the situation at hand. Now, sometimes, obviously, I'm unable to get away and, try and get away from the situation that's causing me that distress. But with newer jobs lately and, situations at hand going a little bit better, things and situations are kind of getting better, and it's kind of helped, along with a lot of really good friends and a lot of good advice from said friends. We're making our way through. Things are going well, and this Derg here, I would say, is becoming more and more of a calm person. Someone who would rather talk things through than raise their voice at someone and shout and scream and all that. Do I still get vulgar? Oh, absolutely. My sailor mouth ain't going away, but carbon with short fuse when driving. We're not even. Look, listen to me. People do not know how to drive. People do not know how to drive. And I swear, my idle road rage. I don't actually do anything dangerous. Let me preface this with saying I don't actually do anything dangerous. I just mostly just yell at people through my car window, or I'll say, very flavorful obscenities and creative swear words towards people that I can't see, while also kind of just judging how people drive, because if I had $1 for every time someone cut me off without using their blinker, or they changed lanes without using their blinkers, I wouldn't need to do this. I could have paid off my house and everything. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I mean, in terms of what I'm like outside of being frustrated, I'm kind of like this. This is the kind of tone that I'm in. This is the kind of vibe that I go with. Yeah, sure, when I'm with the dumbasses, or when I'm, in a little bit more chaos mode with the Void and everything else and other groups that I might be with, I might tap into gremlin energy a little bit more, or, might be a little bit chaotic. And I mean, there's actually at some points where I'm even like, okay, maybe I was a little bit too much. And, I kind of sit myself back and kind of quiet down a little bit after doing so, but we try our best. We try our best with what we have. Water. My job parking lot, we were stationary and a car hit us and drove away. Yeah, I would be pretty mad too. I think one of my things that kind of sticks with me, one of my interactions on the road that sticks with me a lot, is I don't know where I was. Actually, no, I lied. I was on the irony of this was I was on my way to the DMV to get my picture retaken for an updated license whenever I was going from the vertical to the horizontal license. I was in the intersection before that. I had the right-of-way, the green arrow and everything. I had the right-of-way. Someone who didn't even have a green light cuts me off, honks, lays on their horn as they're cutting me off, and proceeds to flip me off. And I'm like, there are several signs here that say you were in the wrong. Are you that daft of a person? Are you that blind of a person to not see that happening in front of you? That's the kind of situation I was in then. And yeah, that was definitely something. I was not a happy Derg. This was a few years ago, but it still sticks with me. I've seen some pretty crazy driving, though. Definitely have seen some pretty crazy driving. I will say, and this is a question I want to ask all of you out there. When I say there are people that drive bad, for lack of better terms, bad drivers, is it just me, or do they seem to all buy the same brands of cars? I'm just saying. With some exceptions, Ark, I apologize ahead of time, please don't hurt me. But with some exceptions, I will officially say Jeep drivers are amongst some of the worst drivers I've ever seen on the road. I don't know if it's just the type of person or what. But in my area, Nissan drivers, Jeep drivers, and Kia drivers are the three worst types of drivers in my entire area. Granted, you know, you have your BMW driver, your BMW douchebags, and fucking Mercedes drivers who think they own everything. That's expected. You kind of see it happen every once in a while and everything. But what I'm talking consistently bad drivers that do things that make you sit there and go, how do you have your license? How did you get your license in the first place? It is Jeep drivers, Kia drivers, and Nissan drivers. Hands down, those are the three worst car drivers I've ever seen. Hands down. And it is consistent. It's not like, oh, every once in a while you see one and they just so happen to be driving that. It is consistent. It is consistently bad. Specifically, last generation Jeep Grand Cherokee, most aggressively driven SUV. Virtually every Grand Cherokee driver is a hazard. See, for me, where I'm from, it's those three, and then any souped up truck driver. When I say souped up, I mean they have the big fuck you wheels. Their truck is jacked up, just barely under the illegal limit. Like, they have obscenely bright. They have basically lights on the front of their truck that can see into the future. That's how bright these lights are. Those ones are somehow. I never understand how some of these truck drivers are never in accidents because of how they drive. I am going 80 on a highway that normally has a 55 mile an hour zone. Now, I say this, of course, me going 80 because the rest of traffic is going 75, 80 because everybody thinks the 55 mile an hour speed limit is fucking bullshit. It should be much higher than that. But, point is, everyone's already going 70, 80 miles an hour. And then here comes some chuckle nuts blasting Toby Keith or something in his jacked up pickup truck, flying past me at 100 miles an hour, if not faster. And we're just like, where are you going? What is the rush? Where the fuck could you possibly be going? Is someone dying? Is your wife pregnant? Is your husband pregnant? I just don't understand it. Look, the 99-cent off Budweiser cans down at the liquor store aren't worth the extra 30 miles an hour. I'm just saying. There's better beer out there. Look, something I will say in regards to car drivers is the one thing that like I've noticed from me, it almost kind of goes down into like a psychological and like social demographic that we can kind of narrow down the types of people versus the cars they drive. Because obviously, you know, it comes down to, you know, like the simple psychology of marketing. Like certain types of things are what attracts certain types of people. What might be an attractive car to you or me might not be an attractive car to your siblings or your friends, which is why we all have different tastes in cars. But the thing I will say, there's a but here, don't worry. It's not my butt, but it's a butt. The thing that I will say is, sure, people have their tendencies and their preferences in vehicles and what they like and how vehicles perform. For me, for example, I really like Subarus. One of my dream cars is to get a WRX. That's just something I want. What I will say is, at what point do you think it goes beyond the psychology of like marketing, and where do you think there's a point where certain cars attract bad drivers? Like there's got to be something along the way there that you got to sit there and think, okay, these types of people are consistently known to be the type of people that aren't very good at driving, and they all decide to choose this type of car, and then they mesh. And I'm just, it's one of those things that like kind of picks at the mind, and you're kind of like, is there a correlation? Is there a pattern? Is it all just patterns? And it's just, you sit there and you wonder, and you're like, okay, yeah, everyone that drives a PT Cruiser is clinically insane. But like, I apologize, by the way. That's for legal reasons. That's a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke. That's a joke. If you drive a PT Cruiser, I do genuinely feel sorry for you because you officially drive possibly the ugliest car in history. But you're not. It doesn't necessarily mean you're insane. That being said, if you drive a PT Cruiser, please get a better car. There's so many better options out there. I would take a Toyota Prius over a PT Cruiser any fucking day. The Cube, oh my god. That car, the toaster. Wait, no, are we talking about the Cube that has like the weird like futuristic window that kind of slides like it starts on the side and comes around to the back? Yeah, there's that, and then there was another vehicle that Scion made. That I literally would call it a toaster. It literally looked like, I kid you not, if I took two big cardboard cutouts of bread and smacked it and taped it and glued it on top of this fucking car, I kid you not, this car looked like a toaster. It was just a box with wheels on it. Like, I don't know. So there are some choices in cars out there that it kind of really makes me wonder how these even left the cutting room floor. Yeah, the bread box, the Scion XB. That I had a buddy, well, not really a buddy, it was more of an acquaintance. I had an acquaintance of mine in college who had one of those. And we knew it was him because he was the only motherfucker on all of the college campus that had that car. So no matter where we were, we would just turn and see the toaster like riding down the street. and just it was just so ugly. It's such an ugly car. Seriously, if you drive that kind of car, I'm sorry, there's no helping you. You're done for. Well, apparently it doesn't matter what they smoked anymore because Toyota discontinued Scion like 6 years ago. So that's why you don't really see them anymore. You'll see the cars around, but yeah. Yeah, Toyota owned Scion was owned by Toyota. Fun fact, Toyota also owns Lexus. So that's why you have some similar some new you notice that some newer Lexus models kind of resemble Toyota cars a little bit. You know, when I was younger, I wanted the Scion TC, not the curve roof one, the flat top one. When I was younger in high school, oh my gosh, I wanted a Scion TC. That was such a cool looking car, but can't get them anymore. So, oh well. You're still young. Listen, I know I'm still young. I got some years to go before I start getting old, quote unquote. But yeah, no, Toyota, okay. Let's we talked about the crazy drivers. We talked about, you know, all the crazy stuff and everything like that. But on the flip side, what comes to mind when you think stable drivers, good drivers, the ones that are never an issue? For me, it's Toyota and Honda. Well, okay, maybe I should watch the Honda because there are Civic R drivers who kind of think that they are car racers. But Toyota drivers, I would say, definitely are probably amongst the most stable drivers on the road. I consistently have very little issue with Toyota drivers. Honda drivers, I would say, is maybe the second. Subaru drivers are kind of hit or miss. There are some for Subaru drivers, they're pretty chill, they're pretty calm people. They're mostly like all over the place when it comes to age demographic. But when you do get the crazy ones, oh my god, they are fucking crazy. Like there's not many of them. There's not many crazy Subaru drivers, but the ones that are crazy. Like, I'm not even joking. Like it makes me almost want to sell my Subaru. That's how crazy some of these fucking bad Subaru drivers are. And I'm just like, Let's see. What do you... But what... Okay. This is actually a kind of a question that comes back... It's a conversation that kind of circulates around everything. And it's the matter of sports cars. I'm going to say this now. If you drive a Mustang, I need to I want to choose these words carefully. Because I have friends and I have family who have Mustangs. But if you drive a Mustang, I'm sorry, but the only reason why you have a sports car is because Shelby Ford didn't want to make an all-day car. Also, Noah, hello. Welcome home. I hope work was well for you, you bean. Please don't cry. If you cry, I'm gonna cry, and then we're both gonna be in a bad situation, and then I'm gonna have to come over there and make you feel better. And then, yeah. So, don't cry. I know where you sleep. Anyways, kind of coming back to the sports car thing. There are three types of sports cars that come to mind when I think, oh, this person didn't do their research. Everybody and their brother likes this kind of sports car, so they got the sports car too. That is Dodge Chargers, Camaros, and Mustangs. Those are the three cars. They're all American sports cars. But I will 100% say those three cars they just scream, I didn't do my research. It's just what everyone told me was cool. There are better sports cars out there. There's more reliable sports cars out there. If you like those, I don't mind that. That's fine. By all means, if that's your thing, if you like that kind of car, get it. I don't care. That's your thing. That's what you love. I'm just going to judge you about it because personally, as a car guy who knows car types and knows that there's better models out there, I'm going to judge you for it. If you're going to get a Mustang, at least like if you're gonna get a Mustang, at least be like unique and get like one of the rarer like models of Mustang, like the Boss 308, or like if you're lucky enough to get a Shelby GT, like do that. Don't just settle for the generic fucking, oh, I got a Mustang. Ooh, let me guess, you really went out and did it and got it convertible too. Yeah, I mean, like, if you go back to, like, in terms of sports cars, for me, I like a lot of, like, European-style sports cars, because I'm just a fucking nerd like that. There are good American cars. The Ford GT, for example, is a gorgeous-looking sports car. Now, granted, it's on the upper end of, you know, sports cars. It kind of gets into, like, the supercar roster, but there are much better American-made sports cars that are out there that look nice. It just, I don't know. I've never been a muscle car fan to begin with. I've always been like between like exotics, tuners, and muscle cars. I've always kind of been more of a tuner person. I like the tuner cars. I love the little compact, like zoomy cars, the stuff you would see in rally. So, speaking of rally racing and everything, rest in peace, Ken Block. If for those of you who may not have heard the news, he recently passed away. So, yeah, that's for the car world and for the racing world. This one goes out to him. I mean, this man was a fucking legend. That one's for you, Ken. But yeah, no. In terms of sports cars made in America, I definitely, yeah, to have a nice American car, you just have to buy a Japanese or European branded car that was made in the US. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what you have to go for. Most Toyotas are made here in America. Fun fact. So if you want a Supra, just get it. Just get a Toyota Supra. They're made here in America, more or less. Also, Noah, you're on break at work. Take care of yourself, Bean. Make sure you're getting something to eat. Make sure you're resting up. And then we'll see you whenever you get home, okay? You take care of yourself. In terms of, I guess we'll kind of wrap this up with talking about like dream cars and shit like that. There's a few on my bucket list that, so I actually, fun fact, it's a fun fact, fun Trigo fun fact. So if I ever end up doing a trivia night about me, by all means, write this down because this might be a question. When I was in high school, well, actually, it was a graduation gift, I guess you could say. I got a graduation gift, like, congratulations, you got out of high school, you survived high school. My parents surprised me by doing this thing. It's basically called extreme. It's called Extreme Experience. Basically, what you get to do is you get to race a supercar around an actual racetrack, and like drive it for a little bit. It was really fun. I specifically got to drive a Lamborghini Gallardo, which was a lot of fun. My options were, I think, the options I had, let me see. The 911 Turbo was unfortunately sold out, so I couldn't get that one. But I could do some Ferrari brand. I forget what the Ferrari model was. But there was the Ferrari, a jacked up Nissan GTR. I wanted to do that, but then I saw that the Gallardo was open, and I said, "Fuck it! I'm driving a Lamborghini. I'm racing a Lamborghini. Fuck it! I don't care." I was not prepared for it. I didn't crash. Obviously, I didn't crash. That's a $250,000 car. I was fucking terrified. And they don't put you in the car by yourself. There's like a professional driver that sits in the passenger seat next to you that's kind of guiding you and everything. It's a really cool experience. Would love to do it again. But you do like, I think, 5 laps around the track. And there are other cars on the track. That's the crazy part about it. Hello, Ultra. Hello. How you doing, Bean? Good to see you. But, so we get there. We get to the track. And the first time we got there, I was nervous because it was foggy. And if it's too foggy and the conditions aren't the best, they can't do it that day. So you basically have to go home and reschedule. So that's what ended up happening. The first day I went, it was too foggy for the track. I went through my training and everything because they do make you go through like a preliminary like training course and everything. Kind of like, here's the car, here's what to do, here's what not to do. If you're passing someone, fucking pass them. That was the one thing I was surprised of like seeing was like, if you're going to overtake another car, then your primary goal is to pass them as fast as possible. If you're going to overtake, let them know that you're going to overtake so that they can keep at a steady pace, and then you just fucking go. You just go. Do not even second guess. You get past them as fast as you possibly can, because passing another person, even in with professional racers, passing is the most dangerous part of racing. So imagine a bunch of amateurs, some of which have never touched a car that strong before, going around a racetrack, and one of them needs to overtake. So, there was also, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. But like, that was the one thing they drilled into everybody was, do not second guess. If you say you're going to overtake a car ahead of you, you commit to it. You do not back out of it, because you can cause an accident if you do. So, that was a little bit of a fun tidbit there. But so we get down to the track. I get my, I put my balaclava on, and I get the helmet on. The one thing I was not prepared for was just how short a Lamborghini is. I'm 6'2". So I was almost squeezing into this car. I was not expecting this car to be this fucking small. So, like, I get in, I sit down, I get, everything all situated. I have the paddles and everything like that for shifting and everything like that. Yes, it was a manual, but because of these cars, this one, I think they had it set a certain way to where it didn't have a clutch. You just had the paddles on the steering wheel. But yeah. So I sit down. The guy gets next to me. I wish I had the fucking video. Somewhere in my parents' house, there is an SD card that has the cockpit video looking out of the drive that I did, of the laps that I did. And I did, for the love of me, I cannot find it. And like, because it was funny, because there was a point where you do a couple like practice runs around the track to familiarize yourself with the car and familiarize yourself with the track and everything like that. And you're out there with the other cars, and the guy's giving you like pointers and advice to go through and everything. And I'm sitting there like a little bit terrified because you put your pinky toe on the gas and this thing is already going 60 miles an hour, and you're like, whoa, I've never driven anything like this. It's insane how sensitive these cars are. And I'm coming around the final curve and onto the straightaway that goes past the finish line. It's the main straightaway of the track before you go into all the curves and everything. And it goes through the it goes through the finish line, the finish and start line. And I go around the first time, and my instructor's like, "Okay, how are you getting a feel for it? Everything like that." And I was like, "It feels great. I'm really confident with it." And he goes, "Great. Let's do this again. Do the second lap. We'll do it faster this time." I'm like, "Faster, dude." I'm like, "Dude, I'm hitting a hairpin turn at 68 miles an hour. How much faster do you want me to fucking go?" And he's like, "Oh, well, we've hit that curve in this car at 86 miles an hour." I'm like, "Oh!" It was crazy. So we come back around, and I do a much faster lap. I'm now very comfortable with it by the second lap. And he's sitting there. He's like, "Go, go, go!" Like he's like, I'm sitting there nervous because I'm like a bit of context. When you're going that fast around a corner, you maybe, you've maybe driven a little bit faster in your life, you'll go around like, back roads or wherever have you. We've all done it at least once. Of like sitting there going around a curve, you may go a little fast and you feel the car kind of give you like you kind of sit there and you can feel the car kind of resist the turn. Like you're turning and you can feel the car wants to go straight and it's kind of resisting a bit. Times that damn. Hold on. I'll tell you what, this cough is not making this any easier. But times that by like 9. You're going around a curve at 80 some miles an hour. The guy in the seat next to you is telling you to go faster. So, sure enough, I start getting to the latter half of the curve, and I fucking floor it. The pedal goes all the way down. I come screaming out of that corner, and I hit, I think, somewhere along the lines of 120, 130 miles an hour, screaming down that fucking straightaway. And like it was a lot of fun. I definitely enjoyed it. And like if it comes around again and I have the money, I'll probably do it again. Maybe pick a different car. Maybe I'll try the Ferrari, or maybe I'll try the GTR this time. But if you guys ever get to see it, if you ever see a chance of, if you see it in your town, or you're passing by and you have the money and everything like that, but like, if you ever see a thing called Extreme Experience, give it a shot. It is a lot of fun. It's not cheap though. I think it's like $150 a person to do it, but like, it's well worth it. It's well worth it, especially if you're in a city or a town that has a really good track. Pittsburgh's International Racetrack is, it's all right. It's short. It's a short track. It's not like pro leagues or anything like that. But like if you're down in South Carolina where the Formula One track is, I know they do it down there, and I think it might be a little bit extra because of just how long the track is. Please go do it. It's an amazing time. Now you can either drive the car yourself, or I think for a lower price, the professional driver drives the car and you sit in the passenger seat. But, like, I tell you what, that was something else. Getting to drive that Lamborghini was something else. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But like I said, I would probably choose a different car because I was like packed in like a sardine. Those cars are, they're nice, they're fun, but good lord, I could never own a Lamborghini because of how short the car is and how tall I am. I could never own a Lamborghini. And that puts a tear to my eye. Keep yourself to go-karts. I'm not 100% a fan of speed. Yeah, no, I mean, like, they even have go-karts now that go fast. Like, there's even some go-kart parks that I've seen where the go-karts are going, like, 20, 30 miles an hour. And they're zooming. They're fucking zooming.
Nice.
Nice indeed. Nice indeed, Ultra. Also, Ultra, I am doing well tonight. I got a little bit of a cough still, but we're doing all right. We're making it through. But yeah, like... So I guess at the end of the day, if you ever see it, if you ever get a chance, go ahead and do it. Even if you don't want to drive, you can still experience it. You can still experience it by having one of their designated drivers drive you around the track. And I'll tell you what, that's fun. Like, you may think it's fun doing it yourself, but you got to realize you're not a professional. These guys are professionals. They have no problem taking corners at 80 miles an hour. They have no problem hitting 130, 140 miles an hour down these straightaways and stuff. You will shit yourself if you get in this car. You will be put back in your seat and like moved around like a rag doll going around these corners if that professional driver's in the driver's seat. It's crazy. A good example. If any of you have seen Ford versus Ferrari, there's a scene where Henry Ford's son gets in the car with one of their drivers that's played by I forget who it is, but he basically sits there and in the Ford GT, and he's like, "Are you ready?" And fucking goes, and he's it's portrayed very accurately of just, you know, just put back in your seat, drug around, like you're trying to grab onto literally anything you can because you feel like you're going to die, but it's in the best way possible. Now, that being said, that's track racing. Don't even get me started on rally racers. Rally racers are fucking crazy. Rally racers are insane. Like, for those of you who don't know, track race, obviously, you're on pavement. You're in a car specifically designed for track race. It's a track. You know what's coming. You know what's ahead. With rally, it's all about time and how fast you're going. Your co-driver, your co-pilot, they are reading off instructions of how sharp the turn is, of if there's a hill. What they're reading off instructions. You don't know what this track looks like because most of the time it's just back dirt roads through a mountain pass. And you have to go through it as fast as fucking possible. You don't know. You're just going off of their fucking notes, and you're just going. Blind hairpin turn into a jump going 160 miles an hour? Sure, why not? Fucking gone. If you would like to know my dream car, Audi RS7 or an R8. The Audi R8 was probably one of my favorite cars growing up. I loved that car. It's a very pretty car. A little bit too, like, circular and bubble-like for me and my tastes, but I can respect the Audi R8. For me, my dream car, in terms of, you know, like, looks, in terms of performance, in terms of, you know, like, is it a realistic car for me to even be able to possibly own? Maybe. It's probably not realistic for me to own, but it is the Lexus LFA, which is a rare car. It's a rare car. It was it's considered a halo car. And basically that means, you know, essentially a halo car is a concept car that makes it to the street to kind of usher in a new type of model of vehicle. And the Lexus LFA was that for me. When I say the Lexus LFA is by far, in my opinion, the most beautiful sounding engine out of any car ever. I mean, above Ferrari, above Lamborghini, above Porsches, everything. It is the most beautiful sounding car I've ever heard in my entire life. I mean it. How like in tune do you say? How good does this car sound, you might say? Toyota, when they were developing the car, they brought in sound technicians and sound engineers from Yamaha. Yes, the piano makers from Yamaha to tune the engine to have a specific sound. I just beautiful car, beautiful sounding car. I would love to own one, but they're very rare because they were out for 1 year. It was not a very popular prototype car, and they were never made again. So they're kind of expensive. I'm talking over $100,000 expensive type car, but maybe if I'm lucky and funding and everything in my life works out in the best way possible, maybe one day I might get one. Who knows? But with that being said, I do believe we're nearing the end of the episode, and I would like to thank all of you for stopping by tonight. One of the new things that I'm going to be trying with the new schedule coming up and everything with work is probably shortening some of my basically shortening up during the weekdays and to 2 hours, maybe doing 2 hours instead of 3. Plus that way I don't want to make the podcasts too long. I want this to be something that people can sit down and listen to in a single sitting without having to dedicate a quarter of their day, or however long they have. So we're going to try and cut it down to 2 hours instead of 3 for the WahCast. That usually will mean like maybe another stream throughout the week, maybe even like the Friday night stream will be a little bit longer, and doing something like that. But with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate all you beans, especially like all of you who participate and have good conversation. You guys are awesome. Keep it up. You're amazing beans. I missed you all. So I'm glad to be back. 2023 is going to be a good year. I have a good feeling about 2023. It's going to be a year that develops a lot. How that development goes about, who knows? But some big things coming up, some other things, and some announcements and everything. But all in due time. All in due time. So, yeah. In the meantime, you all have a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys all on Friday. In the meantime, let's see. Do we have anyone that we can raid tonight? Always want to see if we can raid someone. Always want to see that. We want to share, we want to spread the love. Let's see. Sadly, not tonight. Darn. Oh well. That being said, everyone, you all have a great time. I will see you guys on the next one. Take care for now.